Don't mention that group.
One thing we do like doing here is making fun of bad wrestling, bad AEW sometimes.
Man,
When we do our full
yes.
episode reviews, like our full episode Dynamite or Collision reviews, we have like a chance to pick apart certain things. Like on a day like today, we didn't really have time to do that because we had other stories to talk about. But I guess I could point out Ruby Soho versus Hikaru Shida from Dynamite.
Oh my God. This was a disaster.
There's a nice crossbody right there. You like that one?
That wasn't even the worst thing, I think, but that was one of them.
Here's some very laying it in punches. Like, oh my God. So here's some more. I like this one. Very. Look at them laying it in. Anyways, I don't want to pick.
Pretty good.
I don't want to pick it apart. I could have gone found 20 clips like this, but I just want to say that I think it was one of the worst matches I've ever seen, men or women. Like, it was so the crowd was so not into it. They laid it in so soft. When they bounced off the rope, they were like touching the rope and coming off of it. Like, God, I see a lot of AEW women's matches. A lot of them they kind of try. This one seemed like they weren't even really trying that hard. And it was the second main event before the main event. The show started out really good with all the MJF stuff. Yeah, it fell off towards the end. This was one of the things towards the end of the show. So that's all.
Well, I know we don't really talk about ratings a lot, but this was one of the lowest rated AEWs in 2020 as far as TV ratings. Yeah, so it makes sense. It was
interesting.
Well, it makes some sort of sense, but sometimes it doesn't make sense because, I don't think they've been really good for a while. But then last week's show was kind of a decent rating show for them. So, but anyways, as far as this, I mean, this was a debacle. This was a disaster. This was something that you need to flush down the toilet and never see ever again. It was
from the world champion too. But okay.
Well, I think that's another problem is that when you look at the champions in the women's division WWE. They have Rhea, Becky, even Io Sky or Charlotte when she was champion or whoever. I mean, these are really good wrestlers, right? They wouldn't have this type of match on TV. Even if it was just a TV throwaway match, they wouldn't have such a disaster happen to them, So I think that just really shows the difference between, the women's division WWE, which I think even Jim Cornette said the women's division, the women are better in WWE than the men, so it's not really surprising that there's such a strong women's division, that the women's division is so strong because they really are really good, especially the top women, Becky, Bianca, Rhea. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them, right? So yeah, this was a disaster zone for AEW. I mean, the women's division has always been a mess, but then they have a TV match like this and it just, it just sounds like something people will make fun of continuously for them. And it's kind of, I feel bad for the women, because I'm sure they don't want to have a bad, terrible match that people will make fun of. But at the same time, this is what you could do, this is what you're doing on TV. You probably need more training, honestly. You need to work on your craft a lot more. That's just my opinion. I mean, if you want to avoid the laughter and you want people to stop making fun of you, then maybe work a little harder on your matches and stuff like that, and work with your opponent to make sure that you could have a very solid, at least serviceable match. You don't have to be, I don't know who, but you don't have to be Rhea and Charlotte at WrestleMania, but you could still have put on an acceptable match and not have a disaster of epic proportions, on TV. So that's all I got.
Yeah, I mean these girls are hit or miss though. I've seen some decent Ruby Soho matches. I've seen some decent Shida matches, but this one was.
You know what? The other thing is, it's not surprising that for Ruby, everybody was kind of excited when she first came in, and it was oh, well, how could WWE not keep her? And now it's really obvious why they. I mean, honestly, she's not very good. I don't know this match you've seen where Ruby's been good, but I've never seen it. I walked away thinking, wow, what the heck was WWE thinking? Wow, Ruby Soho is really good. Never happened. Not one time. And she's always involved in really dumb stuff too, to make it even worse. So, I mean, she's okay, but there's they literally have 1,000 Ruby Sohos on NXT ready to go. So, they're not really missing much there.